Hey guys, your boy Chad White here. I'm about to do news time, but before I do that, I'm gonna give my producer Ron a call right here on my phone, and I'm gonna tell him that I bought stock in Disney for him and his family when I really didn't. It's gonna be super funny. Hey Ron, it's Chad. Where are you? The hospital for what? Ronno? Oh my God. Oh my God. Ronno, poor Ronno. Oh my God. What was I calling about? Oh, nothing. I bought you stock in Disney? Yeah, you could sell it. Yes, it will help your family. Okay, I gotta go. We gotta do news time. Well, that kid's dead. Shut up. I hate you so much.
It's news time. Delivering to you the news you didn't know about, the news you didn't care about, and the news you didn't know you cared about. With host, Chad White. Now, here's that host, Chad White.
Welcome back to News Time. I'm your host, Chad White, and this is the Disney news that you didn't know about. It's been a few weeks since Disney announced its streaming service, Disney Plus, to lukewarm, out-of-breath praise from its overweight, bearded fan base. On one hand, this new service will bring back a slew of older shows and properties while also introducing new series and movies. Continuations of those Marvel films people love so much in the TV show form, a reality show about high school musicals, the first live-action Star Wars shows. It almost seems endless, the amount of things Disney can make. On the other hand, though, it enters an already crowded landscape of streamers. Not only is it going up against the big three, but then there's the ones meant to replace cable packages, free services, niche. It's all confusing. Counterpoint, all of these services can be used in conjunction with one another. Viewers can be fans of both Handmaid's Tale and The Tick. Like this guy. Back on the topic of Disney Plus, a lot of outlets have been dubbing it the Netflix killer. Take this CNBC analyst who thinks the Netflix's thesis won't change with the announcement of the newer services.
Melissa, so you're making a big point, which is that there's a lot of competition for Netflix. Anything that takes away from entertainment dollars and time would be a competition for Netflix. I think Disney is a very legitimate competitor to Netflix. You are seeing the unbundling of the cable TV bundle. So you're starting to see an accelerating decline in pay TV subscribers, and people are switching over to these a la carte services. And our survey work suggests that 60% of U.S. consumers would be willing to pay for at least two streaming services. So our strong guess is that Netflix is going to be one of them. So to answer directly your question, no, I don't think that the long thesis on Netflix changes just because Disney's about to launch a competing service. Is that I think there are about 1 billion paid cable TV subs worldwide, and number of streaming subs, paid streaming subs worldwide, is probably in the 200 to 250 million range. It's hard to know for certain, but it's somewhere in that range. And our guess is that those two numbers are going to meet over time. You're going to have the paid cable TV sub numbers declining or stagnant, and the streaming subs are going to rise. It's one of the reasons why I think you could still get a double or a triple in the total number of Netflix subs worldwide. They've got about 150 million today. We think that goes to 300 million within 3 to 5 years. So one, think about that as the opportunity. And then in terms of hours, you're well over 2 hours per a Netflix sub per month. That's on almost on a daily basis. I think that can continue to rise, but modestly from here.
But as I just stated, couldn't the two coexist? Forget about their previous relationship and that bad blood that nearly everyone has said is between them. Yeah, it probably doesn't exist. But they can both make good shows. Mostly. Sometimes. What I'm saying is these things can live together. If you add up the cost of the three biggest streamers along with Disney Plus, it's still years cheaper than cable, whatever that means. All we've been hearing are the positives of the new service, but what are the consequences that come with the Fox acquisition? Other than the thousands of jobs lost that I've been harping about for the past few months, the studio monopoly and all the other crap, so many. effects can come from this? Affects? Who cares? Disney stock prices surged after the announcement, mostly due to A, the size of the company, and B, the pricing of the SVOD service. Shares jumped 11.5%, with Disney Plus expected to earn a profit of by 2024, something Netflix and other streamers have yet to do.
The foremost question on everyone's minds has been, how much is this going to cost in the near term? How is this going to hurt earnings in the near term to get to what will hopefully be a better business in the long term? I think tomorrow we're going to find out a lot of those answers. They've made it clear they intend to discuss their streaming plans in some detail. Once those answers are known, whether they're sort of good, bad, or indifferent, they're known and they're no longer a question mark, and you can start to focus on some other things like the extremely loaded content slate Disney's going to have for the next year. I suspect it will get off to a very strong start because of how powerful their brand is. And so you can kind of look through the near-term flattish earnings to, what people will argue is a much better earnings position in 3, 4, 5 years.
We know that Comcast is looking to sell its shares of Hulu back to Disney, and Hulu is likely to be skinny bundled with ESPN Plus and Disney Plus. Amazon Prime Video comes with all the benefits of Prime, and I needs my hairy bodies washed. Apple TV Plus has the star power. Each of Disney's biggest competitors offers something unique.
Here's the cloud over this. Here's what worries me just a little bit. They have really done a brilliant job of changing the conversation to the growth opportunities, which is going to help boost the multiple, and away from the problem, which is ESPN, the cable networks, and cord cutting. There was nothing about the mainline ESPN in this presentation. And ESPN Plus, they seem to be conceding, at least for now, it's going to be kind of a niche product, maybe 10 million users. And that was the big cloud over the Disney stock. What is going to happen to that cable revenue stream from ESPN? Now, looking at their last earnings, it was surprisingly good. The cable revenue was very stable. The swift deceleration seemed to have stopped. But longer term, that has got to be temporary. Again, the very success of this new Disney direct-to-consumer product is going to cause more people to cut the cord or get the small bundles from cable, which is not going to include ESPN. And I have never seen any modeling that shows ESPN going direct-to-consumer that replicates the profits and revenues that they have.
These services that you mentioned, YouTube, which has been amongst the most successful of the virtual MVPDs, are priced or have been priced at a level where they're losing money. We saw what happened with DirecTV Now. AT&T chose to stop losing as much money per sub, and what do you know, the subs slowed dramatically. In fact, they lost 300,000 subscribers in a quarter. So we'll watch that closely, and as well sort of watch how many subscriptions can one family really afford, and do they really want to pursue if they have a Netflix or a Hulu, and they have one of these over-the-top products. Where does it sort of end, or at what point does it get closer to what they're already paying or were paying for the bundle when they were connected, if they aren't any longer?
Then comes the question of whether or not Disney is spending enough on the venture. Netflix is dropping a cool $15 billion, with 85% of that budget going towards originals. Amazon is $6 billion, whereas Disney comes in at $1 billion. They have lofty goals when it comes to new shows, but they're not as wild as Netflix's. There's a few winners and losers when it comes to this new streaming landscape. AT&T is losing subscribers left and right, and analysts suggest other paid TV subscriptions will fall to strictly streaming. Another
minor issue here, but I think it is an issue, is they said they're going to spend roughly $1 billion this year on new content. That's impressive, but Netflix is spending $8+ billion on new content, and they're hiring they're snatching people away from the Disney fold. Some of the most impressive producers, writers are moving into the Netflix fold. So I wonder, is $1 billion enough? Now,
they'll get up to $2.5 billion over time. And obviously there's license fees they're giving up that they would otherwise receive. And you've got to remember the movie production arm is actually creating a lot of the content that then gets exclusively put into the service.
Which I think is positive. And they do have an incredible library. I think some people have overlooked the fact that Netflix, starting from scratch, they do not have the library. And again, I think a big part of the Fox assets is they've got good library assets there. Disney itself has rich layers of content. They can be, spewing that out forever. And a lot of it is absolutely timeless in its appeal to new successive generations of young people coming up. So I think that there's a lot of terrific content there, but they, I think, may have to end up spending more than they realize to keep up with big spenders like Amazon and Netflix.
Additionally, Amazon is the biggest winner here. Their cloud computing platform, Amazon Web Services, is used by literally everyone on the internet, including Netflix, Apple, and Disney. Will Disney be the Netflix killer others poised it to be? Well, that's really up to Disney, but they're not in the business of getting rid of the competition. This time, they just want to eclipse it. Speaking of eclipsing, why don't you eclipse on over here and click the subscribe and check out one of our other videos. Of course, you can always head to the website cpluscomedy.com, where there's so many great things that the website might be down right now. Follow us on Twitter at cpluscomedy. Follow me on Twitter at ChadBlackWhite. Like us on Facebook. Listen to the Constitutionals podcast, and don't forget to always be sure to put on the right shirt, because you're not sure if you wore it for the last news time.